Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Ricks, Jesse Ricks. I am a teacher in the UK and this is different types of memory, long-term memory in specific, and just a recap on some stuff from Year 10 module of memory on the AQA spec. So let's get into it then. So, first task, if you want to have a go, is just to answer the following questions just for a bit of fun. So you can pause the video and have a go. If you're reading through these, you can see that there's some different questions there, right? And now the point of this task is that they all require different parts of your brain, different types of memories to try and answer these questions. Okay, and today we'll look at some of those. And these are the three types of memories that you'll need to know in GCSE AQA psychology. So you'll need to know what episodic memory is, you'll need to know what semantic memory is, and you'll need to know what procedural memory is. Okay. So episodic memory is a memory of personal events and experiences in your life. If you're defining episodic memory, then you'll use that word. It's a personal event, personal experience, personal memory. Use that word personal in there. Okay. Things that are personal to you, and always have an example ready. So, such as remembering your first day at school, a birthday party, the examples on the other slide. So your first day of secondary school, what you had for breakfast this morning, where you went on your last holiday. These are all episodic memories. Okay. Thinking of it, think of the word episodic. Episodic, what does that make you think of? It makes you think of the word episode, maybe. And an episode is just one snippet of a season, okay, if you watch the TV shows. So that's how I think of trying to remember this word, this episodic memory being a personal event, right? Because an episode is just one snippet, one little section of a whole TV show, right? You've got a TV show, it's cut down into seasons, and seasons cut down to episodes. It's one little snippet of your life, right? One little personal event from your life. That's the way I think about this. So episodic memory, personal events. The next one, semantic memories. Memories of facts and knowledge is quite simply that. Okay, so on the previous slide, it was knowing that the capital of France is Paris. Okay, that's a fact, piece of information, something you'll use at a pub quiz, right? That is a semantic memory. Okay. And the last one is called procedural memories, okay? Procedural memories are quite complex. They can be recalled without conscious awareness, but they're known as muscle memories. So when you do something physical, okay, so when you're walking, you learn to do a handstand, play an instrument, right? I've got some guitars in this room, play guitar. The complex skills that your brain just remembers how to do. So if you're playing an instrument, you can close your eyes and you can play an instrument with your eyes closed if you have those muscle memories in place. Okay, you can walk without conscious awareness. You don't have to think about it. Okay, just like episodic or semantic memories, right? If I ask you what the capital city of a country is, you're gonna have to think about it. But knowing how to walk, knowing how to stand on one leg and balance, knowing how to play an instrument is not something you have to think about if you already have that skill. Always have an example ready as well as an exam tip. So the example there on the screen is remembering how to do things like riding a bike. Riding a bike is a procedural memory. Okay, playing an instrument, procedural memory. So playing the piano, playing guitar, and then anything athletic really. So running, walking, handstands, backflips. They're all procedural memories. They are muscle memories. Okay. So they're the three types of long-term memory that you're going to need to know for GCSE psychology. Now, in previous lessons, you might have looked at some of the basic processes. You might have looked at different ways that we encode information into our brain. So you might have looked at before acoustic, semantic, and visual encoding. So information, there's so much information in the environment, an incredible amount of information in your environment, and it has to be processed and taken in and coded into your brain. It has to be transferred, changed from the form that it is in the world. So if it's acoustic, if it's visual, if it's a smell or a taste, olfactory, gustatory, right? If it's one of those five senses is one type of information, and then it needs to be changed into a form that our brain can understand and know exactly what to do with it and what it is. The three that you have to know about in GCSE is acoustic, which is what it sounds like. It's when we take auditory information, acoustic information in through our ears, and we change that into a form that we can understand. Visual is sight. Then the word semantic there as well. Okay, so the word semantic. All right, semantic is to do with the meaning of things. Okay, so semantic information is to do with coding, to do with meaning. So if we move it on, so information gets coded into our brain. Okay, that's the first step, and there's different ways that information can be coded into our brain. So going from the environment into our sensors or sensory store. The three types of memories that we've just looked at. So when your memory is stored, let's say it's stored in long-term memory, you have episodic memories, personal memories, semantic memories, again, so that word semantic comes up twice, but notice how they mean two different things. So encoding, when we think of semantic encoding, is to do with the meaning of the information. It's a lot easier to remember information if you know what that if that information has some meaning to you, yeah, if it makes sense to you in a very certain kind of way. Now, when and then we looked at semantic long-term memory. So instead of being about meaning, it's about facts and knowledge. Okay, so notice how those two are the same word, but we're going to use different definitions when they're applied to either coding or long-term memory. And then finally, you may have seen before in other lessons about retrieval. So information comes in from the environment, is encoded in one of the ways that we can encode information. It's stored. It's stored as a memory, just like a computer stores memory. And again, they can be stored in various different ways. And then finally, if we have a memory and we get asked a question, we have to recall that information. We have to retrieve that memory from somewhere. There's different ways of retrieving that memory. And again, you may have seen these before. So cued recall, free recall, and recognition. Recognition I describe as recognition is just recognizing when the answer or the correct information is there in front of you that allows you to remember. Okay, so I usually say when you watch game shows in the UK, there's a lot of game shows like The Chase or Tipping Point that are popular at the moment amongst people who watch TV. And they have, just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, they have questions. Choose from the answers A, B, or C, right? The A, B, or C pops up on the screen, and you know, I feel superior when I'm there. I look at the screen and I think, I think the answer's B. Yeah, it's definitely King George. Yeah, that's definitely the answer. And then boom, I'm right, and I'm like, yeah, see, I'm right. I know, but I didn't really know. It's something I recognized it, right? A bit of recognition, something I didn't know the answer before. If you asked me without giving me options, I wouldn't have known. But I recognized the answer was there on the screen. This is recognition, when you recognize that the correct thing is in front of you. Cued recall is kind of similar, so it's where you're given a clue or a cue or something to help you remember. So if I ask you, what is the capital of France? And you go, I know it, what is it? And I say it begins with the letter P, right? I'm giving you a cue, I'm giving you a clue. And then you say, Paris, yeah. And that is a cued recall, okay? So when you've been given a cue or a clue to help you retrieve that information that you have stored. And then the final one is free recall. This is the most difficult. It's just recalling it without any of those, without examples in front of you that you can recognize or without a clue. Okay, so if I ask you what the capital of England is and you go London, that would be free recall because you've not been given anything, you've just thought of it all by yourself. Okay? So, 3 types of encoding you need to know, 3 types of storage for long-term memory that you need to know, and 3 types of retrieval cues that you need to know. Okay? So, If you want to pause the video, have a go at this task. It says identify whether the following memories are episodic, semantic, or procedural. If you need to go back and look at those definitions, do so, but work through these examples and decide which ones are episodic, personal memories, which ones are semantic, facts and knowledge, and which ones are procedural, muscle memory. Here's so the answers. The first one, assuming you pause the video, London is the capital of England. Is semantic. It is a piece of. It's a fact. It's a piece of knowledge. Okay. Last trip to the dentist is obviously episodic because that is a personal event. You remember the last trip you took to the dentist. I don't remember the last trip that you took to the dentist. Right? I couldn't. That is a personal event that happened in your life. Knowing that 7 times 2 equals 14, obviously semantic, it's facts and knowledge. Knowing how to play the piano, it's procedural, right? Muscle memory. Your first day of primary school, episodic, it's a personal event, knowing your first day of primary school. Knowing that elephants are grey is obviously semantic, okay? It's again a fact. And then swimming in the pool, well, depending on how you interpret this one, it's procedural if you know how to swim in the pool, but obviously if it was a memory of you swimming in the pool, then that would have been episodic. Okay, well done. Now, some exam questions that you could be asked. So it says explain what is meant by the term episodic memory. Give an example of an episodic memory. Okay, this is a nice way of wording this question, but you can be given a question in a more horrible way, but they'll still be asking a similar thing. All you need to do is you need to explain what episodic memories are, what it means, right? Define it, and then give an example. This is why I said earlier on, always have examples of hand, and same with that second question about semantic. So the second question says explain one difference between semantic and procedural memories. Again, to get the marks on this question, just define semantic memories. Say, semantic memory is this, and then say whereas procedural memory is this, and define procedural memory differently. You can get the marks for that. Okay. In addition, on that last one, you can say something else about the differences between the memories that I haven't talked about. I'll show you in a second. So if you wanted to pause the video, have a go at those 2 questions, and you can mark them when you replay. Okay, answers. So, explain what is meant by the term episodic memory. An episodic memory, of course, is a memory of a personal event or experience in your life. And then you could give an example, like many I've had in the video. An example is your first day of primary school. There you go, that would be your 2 marks. Now, the second question says explain one difference between semantic memory and procedural memory. You can get the marks for what I said previously, where you can define one, and then say whereas, and then define the other one. However, another thing you can do is you can explain literally some differences. Okay, so I said earlier that procedural memories are complex and don't require conscious awareness. Now, the other types of memories do require conscious awareness. To remember what you did at the weekend, you have to think about it. And to remember facts and knowledge, you have to think about those. Okay, so that could be a difference. You could say a difference between semantic and procedural memories are that procedural memories do not require conscious awareness, whereas you are aware consciously when you recall semantic memories. Okay, so that could be one of the differences as well. You get marks for that on the exam. And the key thing is you put the word whereas in the middle there. That shows that you're comparing and contrasting 2 things, which is exactly what the question asks for. So, tip, try and put that word whereas in the middle. And finally, if you want to have a quick go at some of these questions, these are quick questions, and then again, pause the video and I'll go through the answers. So the answers for the video, which one of these is a description of procedural memory? So procedural memory is, procedural memory is your unconscious memory for skills. The second one there. Retrieval is holding the information in the memory store. Is this true or false? Obviously, the answer for this one is false. Semantic encoding is what the word sounds like. Is this true or false? the answer is false, because it's not about sound. Semantic encoding was about the meaning of words, right? When you semantically encode something, it's about the meaning of that information, yeah, and how it is processed based on if you know what it means. And then finally, name the 3 types of retrieval. What were they? What were my examples? They are obviously recognition. You can recognize something. You can be given a clue. Or the hardest of all, you can do free recall. So there are the answers, guys. Well done. So that's the end of the video. That is different types of memories, as well as we talked a little bit about encoding and retrieval skills and knowledge that you need to know. And you would have learnt this at the beginning of your memory topic for AQA psychology in the UK. Well done, guys. And hopefully you check out some other videos. I'll be going through the rest of the memory topic that you'll be learning in GCSE psychology. So thanks for watching, guys.